all this gang violence might seem like what, like the shooting near the Marathon Burger was not at the Marathon Burger. Like it's easy to say, oh, this is stupid, what's the point? But let's remember something. America monetizes, makes billions of dollars, billion-dollar brands grow out of street violence. Prohibition birthed alcohol brands that we drink today. Gambling, which was the lifeblood of organized crime forever. Now we do it on our phone. It's wholesome. They have under 21-year-old YouTubers, Jag Doherty, all that promoting gambling, and Marathon's third place opening. I mean, Marathon Burger could grow into be something worth hundreds of millions of dollars. This is his third one. Marathon Burger is very good. I've eaten at the one at Melrose and Venice. Like, I mean, to me, I don't really care. What's the California In-N-Out's whatever. Marathon Burger's better. Marathon Burger is like a real chain that could really go somewhere. And it has a backstory. Black owned, LA, Nipsey Hussle. And apparently, I think they say there's no such thing as bad publicity. And I put up a story, and many people did. They just knew there was a shooting, and now everyone's like, oh, it wasn't at Marathon. I don't know why people are saying it was at Marathon. It wasn't at the Marathon, but definitely the crowd that it attracted. There's gangs there in Long Beach, the Rolling 80s Crips, and the Baby Insanes, and the Hoovers were there, rivals with the neighborhood Crips. How much is Big Blacc Sam is not a gang member, but people from the Rolling 60s that were part of Nipsey's movement are definitely employed. And when I go to the Marathon Burgers, they're very well run, but you can tell people that are, whether they're cooking, whether they're in management, security, they appear to be, people that maybe used to be are in the gang, but it's a well-run place and it does very well. And it's interesting to me, what is it? American society is really, we're a gangster country. That's why Donald Trump is the president we all love to hate. Now, that may be coming to an end soon, but who knows? But who was the main welcomer at that opening event? It was, of course, Long Beach's own Snoop Dogg, the world's most valuable gang member. Now, let's remember, Snoop Dogg's very first song, and it don't stop, because it's 187 on the Undercover Cop. So he is gone. He launched his career making a dope song about taking the life of an undercover cop. Was there for the takeoff and ascent of gangster rap. Beat a murder case. Never understood why he was even charged with murder if it was his bodyguard that killed the guy. Well, if you look into it, and if you want me to, people have done the story. There's so many new things to talk about, but the way the case really was, probably that his bodyguard took the case for him. Point being, and then all the stuff he went through to get, Snoop has had an amazing battle to get to where he's at. So I'm not taking nothing away from Snoop. He had to deal with Suge, and then he got with No Limit briefly. He comes back now. He is the king of LA in a sense, business-wise, and he's a guy that is a global brand. He is in an all-star, and being a Crip. He doesn't really talk about it so much now, but it's just part of his. You would almost, if you would almost think, if you didn't know what it was, you would think being a Crip. If all you knew was Snoop Dogg, was kind of like some fun, I want my 8-year-old daughter to be a Crip. And that's not something, I'm not saying it's good or bad or negative, but that's a powerful thing to understand it. Multi-billion-dollar brands. Snoop Dogg has cookbooks with Martha Stewart, who herself has been to prison for insider trading. A gangster country. So Blacc Sam has hit an excellent formula with the marathon burger. You know, when I used to be going out to nightclubs a lot when I was younger, because I'm still young, I'm still a kid, I'll always be the kid. It was like a joke. Like if nobody gets shot, the club wasn't popping. So Blacc Sam's got the hottest venue, and it brings out the demographic, and something happened. It wasn't anybody attacking them. I think it just brought out people that didn't need to be seeing each other. But this is a key moment for Blacc Sam. He's been doing interviews recently about opening up about how raw and the wound of losing his brother still is. He wishes Eric Holder hadn't have been incarcerated because he wanted street justice. Blacc Sam, you have maybe the makings of like a real mega big chain. You got that marathon burger. The whole thing works. Like the food is really good. He had special chefs come in, and I watched the process of how they put together the meat combination, and the chicken's good. Everything's good. It's got a look to it. It's unique. It matches, roads, driving. It all works like as a design. It's a very well done on the corporate side. And, you used, obviously your brother's momentum got it started, but the chains and the food have a momentum of their own, and who knows, maybe the way America now is, if there's a little bit of a, just like with Snoop, never would have thought Snoop was just, imagine this guy been on trial for murder. He helped make the Crip walk a part of pop culture. And I'm not saying this is bad. I'm saying this is just the country we live in. You have to understand, it's a country of gangsters, of what is a gangster though? Getting it by any means necessary. And maybe that's the way you get freedom. The only freedom is financial freedom and power. Malcolm X said by any means necessary. Well, maybe that turns out being you got to take the pathologies of different things. For example, the inner city gangs in LA, and they get people's attention, and it's exciting, and then you slide in these products that are good, and it becomes a global brand. I mean, the food is good enough at Marathon to open up anywhere, and it has an exciting backstory. I think there is one person in custody. The word on the internet streets is it was something to do with the rolling 80s and who I guess are rivals to the Baby Insanes, and the Hoovers interact with the Baby Insanes. I'm not really sure. That's not really the point of this video. But there was a gang shooting, and it wasn't at Marathon, but it was down the street. That part of Long Beach. Long Beach's crime is way down like everywhere. But it's interesting. Crime is way down. There's way less gang murders and all that here. But there's still a lot of dangerous guys floating around. They just seem like they're out of town. They pop back into town and come and go. But some of the gangs are like little organized crime things. Sam has been able to take and make a legal. He's at the takeoff point. Maybe if he can get. That's why they're controlling the narrative so good, and they're doing a good job of it. Because if he's got 3 that can work, now you got some. Now he could probably get some venture capital. Now if you can go 3, you can go 10. Man, you could say there's a lot of hamburger spots, but they're old. They're not good. Marathon's worth going to. Like if you actually want a like way better than In-N-Out. It just is. Marathon's better than In-N-Out. So Snoop Dogg welcomed the Marathon to Long Beach at the ceremony. He wasn't there when the shooting happened. Snoop Dogg was the American ambassador to the Winter Olympics in Milan just now. He was chosen to represent America, a Crip from LA. So that shows you how woven into our society. We will love what we're supposed to hate. right? Where a group of people, whether it's a gang member or a young black man, that were, on one hand might get put in jail and are hated, but if they can make something we like that excites us, it works. So you really can, but that's a game on the razor's edge of using the street life or crime, the street life, the pathologies of the ghetto or just whatever pathology, because it's not just black people from the inner city that are able to mine this to get stuff. You have many, women that, Kim Kardashian went, she turned a sex tape. Her mother pimped her sex tape into a whole career. So I guess you got to take a chance take chances to make champions. And look at the razor's edge, though, of the Nipsey and Blacc Sam's family. Without Nipsey's death, where would their brand be? That brought a lot of light around the world, which is sad but true, but that's the way things work. Maybe, and when I say sacrifice, I'm not talking about nobody sacrificed them or any of that weird type stuff, but the notoriety of his death and his brother's business acumen, and I don't want to say capitalize on it in a negative way. He's following the plan that they all already had. But boy, the things you got to give up in life to be successful, it's definitely a razor's edge. And when you look at, speaking of Crips and making money, like Big U and Nipsey, Big U said Nipsey is not bigger than me. And if you really have been looking through those indictments, Big U, like I mentioned in another story, is he going to be tied in as a mafia debt collector? Remember I did the story about Floyd Mayweather and his new white friend, and how Mayweather's been going broke. His new white friend, who hangs with him at games and all that, and got indicted for bringing $60,000 in a Birkin bag to bribe a union official, and who has all sorts of pending charges, stealing money. This corresponds with Mayweather going broke. A lot of these athletes and celebrities get targeted. Usually they're the victim. At least in Nipsey Hussle and his family's case. I mean, Nipsey's a victim in the sense he lost his life, but his brother, parents, children will benefit from what he blossomed up, because I wouldn't be surprised if you see Blacc Sam is able to take Marathon Burger to a chain. I don't think their plan is not to have 3 of those. If they can have 3, they can have 33, they can have 330. And if that becomes tied in, if that's the American, I could see Marathon being in, and then the message behind it, the marathon never ends, or the marathon continues. Life is never ending. It's got the race car. They got all the perfect marketing. I could see that being almost anywhere in the world. So those guys had a dream and they put it into existence, and you have to. So a lot comes with it, a lot of sacrifices, and selling stuff to the general public like hamburgers or all the other bullshit we sell. I mean, a lot of the general public is on dumb shit. So when you pull them out and get them in groups, you're gonna have things like sometimes there's a shooting. It's not their fault. It's not their fault. That's who came. This is a critical moment for him, though. He does not want for that to get associated with, if he's going to take it to another level, like I've been to all of them, or to the first 2, for a city with a relatively small percentage of black population, the people going to the Marathon Burger definitely overrepresented African American, which is fine. But for that to grow, obviously, to other parts of the country, you got to strike that balance just like Snoop Dogg. This is like some kind of scary stuff out of inner city LA, gangs, Crips. Nipsey Hussle got killed, but You don't want people to actually feel unsafe. So if I was him, I would look for him. If I was him, I would try to open something away from, like, put something out, like, way away from it, like in Riverside County, Orange County, because the food stands up to it. The food, the hamburgers, the chicken is good enough, and he should do that. But Big U and Nipsey were both battling for what some of the 60s attracted to one, some attracted to other. Big U was generating a lot of money when you really look through the indictments between the doing collections for people. Oh, I was mentioning Mayweather's white guy. I heard and was looking through some documents, and this might be that Mayweather's white guy is the Jew boy who got slapped around. I got it that Big U was picking up gambling money for, and also had to slap up and take some money from. I'm not sure for sure that's him, but, at that level, it's only a small amount of people intertwining. A lot of entertainment industry attracts a lot of slime balls and snakes, so who knows? But as Mayweather is going broke, Big U's looking at life, marathon continues, and that continues to grow. Hopefully this shooting won't slow it down. I think his next step should be open something where there's a different demographic to see if it can work there. I think it can, because the food is good. But I have a feeling remember they killed Big U's son on his one son, and then now his other son gave an interview where he implied that Nipsey Hussle and his boys, now it's a known thing that Nipsey had a case. I think he ended up just having a gun case, but there was a photo with an underage girl, and Big U's son said, oh, of course they flipped her. That's LA slang. They ran her, steamrolled her, ran a busto. All had SEX with her when she was underage. So Nipsey did have that type of a charge, but then he was investigated for it, or I don't know if he was ever arraigned for it or not, but obviously, he doesn't have no conviction of anything like that, and it was dropped, which is a very, very easy thing to happen to people in the street. That was one of the scariest things. That's one of the reasons as just through life, you start changing your behavior. Being in my mid-20s and still you run around messing with a lot of girls, you start to realize, like, boy, there's little girls floating around out here. And I used to be the guy that I'd listen to a girl talk, I'd be like, oh no, I'm about to drive you home. Party's over. Not only am I going to put you out, I'm going to take you home, because I'm not even going to put you out in the streets to walk for some other man to pick you up. We taking you home. Remember, we picked up some girls at the bus stop looking like they were in their best little 13th grade outfits, and me and my boy were mollied up, so we was ready. And the girls were in the back seat. And when I say picked them up, I'm talking about you just driving in the hood, she said, oh, you're cute, get in the car, what y'all up to, let's ride. And the girls started talking to each other, and I looked, and this is why you can't use drugs as an excuse. We had just dropped, and we were there. And these girls started talking. I looked at my boy. I said, oh, no, I'm taking them home, because they clearly did not need to be. I don't even think they were under 18. They were slow. They didn't even know, their address. She had to tell me, oh, drive here and turn at that building and go. And then they were arguing with each other in their own little language. It was kind of weird. But you could have done something to them, put them out the car. They wouldn't even have known where they were at. But I took him home. I'm not here to harm no young ladies. But anyways, his son said, my dad got him out of that case, implying Big U got power downtown, or did. So these guys were enmeshed. And when Nipsey broke away, you could see if Big U was getting them out of cases, I think that Nipsey and whatever extortions was going on rappers at some point, Nipsey might have been down with that early on or helped lure some people in. That's just what it appears to be. Other people have said it. It was like two gangsters going their separate ways. And I still think Big U put a battery in Eric Holder, and others put a battery in Eric Holder's back. I don't think they did a real conspiracy against Nipsey, like sat in a room and said, hey, go kill him. But somebody told me something about Eric. Eric Holder is a very violent person, and he had done some other extreme violence. That's why he had disappeared from the neighborhood. And the reason Nipsey said to him, hey, you shouldn't be around here, he was kicked out of the neighborhood, not for snitching, for doing some wild shit inappropriately that caused some problems with shot a bunch of people for no good reason, and he had to go, and he wasn't supposed to be around there. And if Nipsey said, hey, you shouldn't be around here, it wasn't about snitching. It was about you just not even, we got you from around here because you did something inappropriate as far as violence to some other people. So it's very serious, but there's billions of dollars at stake. Now this Nipsey Hussle brand has made a lot of money, all from them holding down that parking lot, and maybe Big U helping Nipsey beat SEXual case. Not saying he was guilty, I'm just saying that was the charges. And U's son said his father got him out of that, or implied he did. No, that case just went away. Now, maybe the case wasn't shit and it went away, and the son just thinks his father's all powerful and he made it went away. I don't know. It's a lot to think about. I will tell you, in LA, if you're in life in general, but especially in LA, if you're generating some money, people, you'd be surprised. People will look the other way on a lot of stuff, even the system, because only place you're ever going to see a whole lot of LA police cars. Maybe they doing some gang sweep, but other than that, you see a lot of LA police cars, they guarding a movie set. LAPD exists to guard movie sets and to clean up the problems of celebrities. It always has. So Blacc Sam seems like he's getting his foot in the loop of, so they got one store and they got 3 hamburger places. He needs to get a chunk of money and get up to about 10 places real quick so he can be at that level. And if he needs some consulting, tap in. But yeah, so those are just some thoughts. Very interesting how things that start at the margins of society, the Crips, for example, in this particular example, have migrated into being important in the economy because what? Because they get attention, because people like, I don't know, why are the Crips? Snoop Dogg, Nipsey Hussle America, but it's called, there's a lot of research on it, outsider culture in America. So where do many of the things that are popular make a lot of money as far as products? They come from the gays, jail people. Not as many black people are marginalized now, but traditionally, marginalized community, poor black neighborhoods, crime. A lot of our fashion, our sayings come from the gay stuff. It seems like most television shows, everything's supposed to be some reference to, what's the new cool saying amongst the gay community. Kind of interesting. The recurring theme I talk about, the vicification of America. All things that are supposed to be bad. Gangs aren't supposed to be good. The Crips ain't supposed to be just entertainment. And I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just observing. But you may have another Crip brand just going to be like Snoop and become mainstream. And I think what happened at the marathon was just, It wasn't even a bump in the road as part of the free publicity, which is why they liked gangster rap so much. It's not so much they made a plan to say, oh, let's poison the black community. They put out, Straight Outta Compton came out, and those records, and they're going gold, and they don't have to do no payola. They don't have to pay. They don't have to pay the radio station. Whereas to sell, they went platinum actually. So to sell 1 million Straight Outta Comptons, we basically had no PR budget. To sell 1 million, Quiet Riot, we had to spend 1 million. Well, let's double down. More gangster rap, more free publicity. Listen, all the really attention, we live in the attention economy. A lot of people have now had Maritime Burger imprinted in their brain from this shooting. This is going to benefit his business in the long run, provided he keeps pushing, which they are, because already it's really associated with gangs and murder, but that's not what people see about it. It's just Nipsey Hussle, a famous person who got killed by his own so-called fellow gang member. It's pretty weird, pretty interesting, just like America is in general. So this is all just food for thought. It wasn't a particular story about anything in general. Well, I mean, it was about Marathon Burger and the building of that brand, but also I want you to just think about how so much that's popular and generates a lot of money comes from the edges of American society and makes itself into the center. And now a lot of what America is, a person like Donald Trump wouldn't have been president. But if Trump can be the president, Snoop Dogg can be the representative of the country at the Olympics. Why not? Our Profit America dope.